Hey guys, what is up? Dave coming back to you on a completely new, fresh install of Windows, actually. So my videos should be a lot better now, a lot less clunky, a lot, less garbagey. And I'll be able to stream more because my computer's all nice and clean and ready to roll. But today I wanted to make a video because I'm shouting out to you guys in the community. There's two things I want to let you guys know about. The first one is... obviously, the subject of today's video is how to modify Nitto Legends and Nitto Challenge without access to the source code, because that's basically what we're doing with Legends. And then the second thing is just to remind you guys about the donation incentive to get the game up and running by hiring somebody off of Freelancer. Using Freelancer is going to be our best option for getting Nitto V1 and V2 running, because they'll be able to help us out. It'll be somebody who's a professional that's done this stuff, hundreds of times, and they'll know exactly what's needed, exactly how to get it to work. Some of you guys were in the Discord chat a couple nights ago, and we were all chatting, trying to get the login system on Legends to work, and no matter what I did, I just couldn't get it to work. So that's an example of why we need somebody off of Freelancer, but Freelancer is expensive. It's about $500 at least to get someone to even, honestly even talk to us, let alone, actually get the game up, running, and working. And especially with the custom way this has to be done, since we don't have game source code, they're probably going to charge more because of having to use a tool they've never used before. So we're thinking it's going to cost about $1,000 to get somebody to do all of Nitto Legends recode, and then whatever we learn from Legends we'll be able to apply to Challenge, and Challenge will have the funds from Legends to be finished, because Challenge is going to take much longer than Legends ever will to finish, just to let you guys know. But today I wanted to go over the video of how to modify Nitto V2 so you guys can try to help out. If one of you guys gets it working, you can shout me out on the Discord and be like, hey, it works. And I'll come, congratulate you. If it's something you're really good at, really passionate about, really want to help us out as a new team member, I'll totally, take it into consideration, ask the other guys, be like, hey, this is how he helped us. This is definitely someone we should have on our development team. So that's the idea. That's where I am when it comes to V2, with development of V2. And maybe even we'll throw some V1 stuff at you. Maybe you'll have ideas that we haven't. Because, we've been staring at the source code of Nitto Challenge for a very long time now. And even with source code, we just have not been able to get it, unfortunately. But, that's beside the fact. So today's video is all about V2. And I'm going to tell you guys the very first things that you need today. You need an executable of Nitto V2, so any version of V2 should work. I have a problem still with my computer. I forgot to upgrade one thing, and I still can't run Nitto Challenge or Legend. Totally forgot to say, you can get here from their GitHub, JPEG's Flash decompiler. You're going to want the Windows version if you're on Windows. If not, you can get the Java version, which works on Linux, Mac, and Windows. You can get the Linux-specific version, the Java-specific version, whichever one that you want. But 11.0.0 is the newest version, and it's the easiest one to use. That's the one I'm using in this video. So once it's installed, run the executable for Nitto Challenge. Go to Tools, go to Search SWF in Memory, and find Nitto Challenge. Luckily for me, it's the very top one. Click Select. It'll search your computer's RAM, and you'll find the game. Usually it's going to be the largest file. So you simply click Open, and as you can see, we have the game client right here to mess with and modify. That's simple, and then you can save it as a Flash file to mess with later. Now, the thing with V2 is that's as far as you go. Even with V1, that's as far as you can honestly go, because it doesn't let you move any further forward. If you try to decompile it to FLA format, like it says right here, and open it in Adobe Flash, a lot of it is broken. It doesn't recompile back to any form of an EXE or SWF that could actually work and be played. So what you have to do then is find the code. So basically what we're doing in V2 is we're actually scrolling down and we look in the frames. Frame 105 has all the code you could ever need for V2. Now, different versions of Nitto Legends are going to have code in different places. This major file is sometimes going to be frame 19, sometimes it's going to be frame 91, sometimes it'll be the first frame, sometimes it'll be frame 105. Depending on what version of the game, I think 0.10.03, it was like 150 some frames, and that it was in one of the last frames. I'm not 100% sure. But the easiest way to actually mess with and test this is to go to, especially on our version, it's going to be in a different location on yours, but find the function login, which you can do Control F to try to find it, or scroll through and just see what else there is. But you're going to want to go to login. As you can see, it's right here. The thing with login is all the Nitto games use this weird lingo execute call login lock.toString, close it. What you have to do with that is you have to modify that. We can't use lingo calls. Lingo calls, for the education of it, is something based on Shockwave Flash. It wasn't something that was normal to Adobe Flash. It was something that was added on later. Shockwave is a slightly better version to use of Flash that actually has a lot more options. Lingo was one way to communicate with web servers. Instead of putting your URL there and getting everything to go that way, it would actually execute the call, auto-encrypt it, and then send it to the server so nobody could mess with it. Needless to say, we definitely figured out a way to mess with it back when V2 was still a thing. So as you can see, we have to remove that. The nice thing about it is it's actually very simple. So as you can see, we have this lock3, lock3u, lock3p. The server lights go to let you know that, hey, it's trying. And then it executes the call and tries to call the server. This is what we're getting rid of. Just delete it. Now, what you're going to need is you're going to need two things. You're going to need lock3 and stat, which is actually right here, so you're good. So instead of using lock3, or instead of using the get URL, sorry, you're going to go lock3 dot send and load, and then your URL to the file, which for me, for testing, it's on one of my spare domains. Question mark. So the question mark tells the game, hey, look, this is where all the things are going to be. And then you're going to want to tell it, hey, my stuff is there. So you're going to go lock3.toString, comma, stat, comma, post. And then you're going to save it. So now that that's all said and done, for us, the login stuff is all up here. So I'm actually going to remove all this, because I believe the way I just coded it now, based on a tutorial, should be the way that it actually works. So we're getting rid of all this hunk of junk. I don't know why I said it that way. And it should go through. I just want to make sure frame 4 has it. Pretty sure that's right. I don't know what tab index and all that means and all that, but you know, it's there. And then I believe frame 2, okay, that just encrypts the password. So yeah, we're actually just going to do username password instead. I think the original was username or UNP, but I don't know how that worked. So we're just going to do like that, because I had modified it. Now, as you can see, these are the variables for what the text box names actually are. So obviously this text box is called username, this text box is called password. To test what you've modified, now that everything is modified, you go save as exe, and as you can see, I have it named as test on my desktop. As you can see, I can run it now. And I have little checks. Well, actually, I just removed them by accident, didn't I? So we can go TechX 2, I believe is what it is, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And it's at least trying. My problem is I don't really have a way to actually check. I don't have a way to really debug it and test if it's actually working. So in the 1600s here, I don't have a way to really make any text appear on the screen and be like, hey, this is what's happening. That's where we're kind of stuck. I don't have a way to test it. So I need to actually get everything working and going from there, but this is how the game is modified. If it had logged in successfully, the server lights would stop. So seeing how the server lights are still beeping and beeping and beeping, that means I didn't get anything back and it's not going into this login CB. That's the other problem we're having. We don't know how it knows to go from here to here. That's what we need to figure out. So once we figure that out, that's how it'll work. But if anybody wants to help out with this, as you can see from here, looking up a tutorial on send and load, that's going to be far more detailed with the PHP and stuff like that, instead of, my tutorial. That's going to be your best way to go. So anyway, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll talk to you guys soon.